Bueno, continuemos en donde me quedé.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books? Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I used to stand out there all the time before Mother told me to focus on my homework. You've been running around all week, sir, sometimes without your shirt on, asking people questions. I haven't really understood what about. Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. No, you don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks odd on a man.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. You were probably gurning too. Good thing she didn't say party eyes loud. Her mother's nearby. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Don't leave us hanging like that, man. Open yourself to the experiences of the world. Expand your consciousness with amphetamines.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. A book about cockatoos? There should be one upstairs, right next to the shelf of biographies.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective. A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems. You don't have behavioral problems. That's garbage. You're cool.
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover. You wait for the storekeeper to be distracted. When she's not looking, you haul the tome of cockatoos into your pocket. It's quite a challenge, but eventually, the guide to the cockatoos is yours. Splendid effort. A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues. This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang-bang cockatoo. It's colorfully illustrated. Despite its banging name, the bang-bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoese forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly gray and white. The Seminoese name bang-bang is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Ouch, that must hurt. Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you? You're right, Your Majesty embodied. This big, beautiful bird belongs on your heraldry.
Hello again, esteemed officer. I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the books.
She's so tense, it's a miracle she hasn't snapped in half yet.
No! Okay, fine. It's because this place is cursed. Just like Annette said, they don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything?
Host of hosts, she prays. Guard me and my honest business venture from the curse that lurks behind the curtains.
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough. The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy. It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the cacodemons feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here. It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Such wraiths may prove a formidable enemy. Suit up.
No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%. Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away. Leave the spirits be, so they can return to their slumber. Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits.
The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what world-class perfidy looks like.
Are you sure? Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before. You're no paradetective. You look nothing like one. And you're clearly a drinker. Pardon me for being so blunt, but...
Hey now, hey. You need the booze to focus, all right? The lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. He silently picks out his notebook.
How do you know all this?
Here we go.
I should have realized. A pattern lies within the fabric. The hand of fate guides us. Our meeting couldn't have been mere chance. But I am not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You are certain you can help us? Keep us safe? I can't allow any collateral damage to hit us.
Certainly so, ma'am. I can assure you my partner is eminent in this particular field.
If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it? Thank you, sir. There's one more thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity.
Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire.
You have? The entity takes the form of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she must be connected to the curse ever since I first saw her. Did you know that she lives inside the chimney? Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. What is the source of this curse? Here's the key to the warded door behind the curtains. Take it. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked round. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse. What you discover in there.
Unbelievable darkness and ruin. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little cage-like trinkets, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
Oh!
A heavy door with a missing
Frente a ti se
handle
encuentra
stands
una
before
pesada
you,
puerta sin
covered in
picaporte
dozens,
cubierta con
if not
docenas,
hundreds,
si no
of little
cientos de
oddly
pequeños
shaped
dijes y talismanes como
trinkets and
extrañas
charms.
formas. Parece
It
estar
appears to
cerrada
be
con
locked.
llave. Tirar la puerta abajo. Y... Mm,
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
yo lo guardé, ¿verdad? Vete a la... No le he logrado.
You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame.
Superada.
It's going to take one more try to break through to the other side. But you've done it.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you?
Me dio un poco de experiencia, pero me quitó vida. No estará pensando en volver a intentarlo, ¿verdad? Te observa. Fortis, el resto es elegible. Sitios fortes. Un gimnasio.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. There are no collars
La
on the
barra entre los
barbell.
verdaderos es un peligro
This
para la
is a
seguridad.
safety hazard.
La barra tiene abrazaderas.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
Ya. Voy a guardar. Voy a ver si hay algo que me levante la física. Uy, ¿y eso?
The barbell waits patiently on the floor like a... The barbell waits patiently on the floor like a dog for its master. You managed to hoist it off. The barbell waits patiently on the floor like a dog for its master. Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game.
Moral recuperada.
A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to.
Good technique.
Huele a cuero y sudor. ¿Qué pasa?
What is this place? Yes, but no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your bag before we move on.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than that, the room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
Escombros y paneles de cristal viejos.
It's dark. And the flashlight works a lot better if you hold it in your hand. Right. Now let's get to it.
Some areas are inaccessible without your flashlight. After you've acquired it, go to your inventory and equip it in a held slot to continue exploring.
Pero mientras sientes que deberías aferrarte y darle un buen uso, vender tan hermoso equipo deportivo de la vieja escuela sería un pecado. Disecados. Dos maniquí que muestran el color amarillento. Terciopelo azul suave al tacto y al apolillado. Plata. ¿Dónde estará la ropa que suele exhibir? Plata. Alas de rotor de acero como el logo de Slipstream. Elemento de memoria, plan de producción. Eso me va a alcanzar para por lo menos 2 días más. ¿Será el taller de Emma?
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and
Cubierta de
schemes
garabatos,
like some
bosquejos y esquemas.
ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still
Es
make out
conocido, pero
sections
todavía se
here and
distinguen
there.
algunas cosas.
Photos
Aquí
and
y
drawings
allá
have
hay
been
algunas
pinned
fotos
to
y
the
bosquejos
board.
pegados en la pizarra. Parece un elfo.
The
Examinar las notas.
handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out
Recientemente
3 slogans:
Wirral,
Call in, tune
Uteteret
out, Wirral
y
untethered,
muerte térmica
and
del
heat
universo.
death of the universe. The full text reads: Heat death of the universe is the new black.
El
Another
mayor
note
avance
says,
en las
the
mecánicas de
biggest
Juan, sí, ya
advancement
sabía.
in role-playing systems since the 30s. Outside, a cold wind
Por un
wraps
viento
the
frío
building
envuelve
in its
el
bosom.
edificio, un revuelve copos de
Snowflakes in the
nieve. Una
wind.
anciana pasa
An old
por
woman
lo que los
passes
lugareños
what
llaman la
locals
zona
call
comercial
the
maldita. Se
doomed
esfuerza por
commercial
no
area.
mirar los
She tries
escaparates de la
hard not to
librería.
look at the
Sería una
bookstore windows.
insensatez.
It's unwise. This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. As time goes on,
A medida
the
que pasan los
numbers
días,
in the
los números
boxes
se
grow
deforman cada
rarer
vez más y
and
más. Al
rarer.
llegar a los
The
últimos, la
board
tabla
becomes
se
an
convierte
empty
en un páramo
snowfield
nevado.
in the final days.
Solo el fracaso y el
Only
remordimiento
failure
habitan
and
en esta
regret
región.
dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make
Parece
it.
que no lo consiguieron, sentencia el teniente mientras contempla el vacuo páramo helado.
A note in the bottom
Una
left
nota en la
corner
esquina
of the
inferior
chalkboard
izquierda de la
says,
pizarra dice:
"See the
para
prod
más detalles
schedule,
ver el
fill in for
filamento plan
details."
prot. Examinarlos.
The photo collage depicts
Fotomontaje
barren,
muestra un
icy
paisajes
landscapes wrapped in
áridos
perpetual night.
y
You
helados,
see permafrost and
sumidos en
glacial
una noche
landforms,
perpetua.
dead
Todo
trees
está
groaning
rodeado de
under the
permahielo,
snow.
formaciones glaciares y árboles secos bajo la nieve.
Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into
Pequeñas
glaciers,
plataformas petrolíferas dentro de los glaciares construidas por los de War boreales.
great mammoth-like
Yurts
beasts
bajo
of
la
burden.
nieve, grandes bestias de carga parecidas a mamuts.
Albeit dark and cold,
Pese a ser
this
oscura y
vision
fría, su
also
visión
feels
es
cozy
particularmente
in its
acogedora,
own
como
way,
el ponche de
like
huevo
eggnog,
o la morfina, un
morphine,
soplo de aire fresco
a
muy
much-needed
necesario
respite from
respecto
our
a
own
nuestro
world.
propio mundo.
A pinned postcard
Una postal
reads,
sujeta a la pizarra
"The heat
reza:
death
el
scenario,
escenario de la muerte
a desperate
térmica.
fight
El mundo
for
sumido en una
geothermal
búsqueda
energy
desesperada de
engulfs the
energía
world as
geotérmica
we're
mientras el sol se
untethered from
desvincula
its
de
sun,
Wirral y vaga a la
drifting
deriva
through the
por el
universe.
universo.
These lithe,
Estas
pointy-eared
gráciles criaturas
creatures
de orejas
appear to be
puntiagudas
different
parecen ser
types
diferentes
of
tipos de
Welkins.
Welkins.
You make out
Destacan los
autumnal
otoñales
candle
Welkins Vela, que
casting
lanzan
white
hechizos de magia
spaced
basada en
magic.
en cera.
Translucent Welkins,
En cera.
with organs
Welkins
shining
translúcidos
under
con
their
los
skin,
órganos brillando
and
bajo la
even
piel.
ether
Y hasta
Welkins,
Welkins de éter,
hailing from the
procedentes del
vast
vasto
emptiness
vacío del
of
espacio
sidereal
sideral.
space. One of the Welkins,
Sin embargo,
towering among
hay
the
uno de
rest,
los Welkins que
appears to
destaca
be
del resto
different,
por algún
however.
motivo. Parece diferente.
It's Vara Hamira,
Es
a high Welkin. His
Un alto
face
Welkin
white
tiene el
and
rostro
scarred
pálido
like
y
cracked
lleno de
marble.
cicatrices
This
como el
is
mármol
clearly a
agrietado. Sin
Welkin
duda es un
supremacist.
supremacista Welkin. La nota
The
dice:
note
se
says,
purgarán todas las
all
razas que no sean
non-Welkin
Welkin.
races will be purged. The Haldor, the
Todos los
Tuog,
purgados,
the
los
humans,
Uldur, los
and even
Eor, los
headless
humanos e
men,
incluso los
all of them
acéfalos.
purged.
Imagínate un mundo entero
Imagine a
habitado
world
únicamente
filled
por
only
Welkin,
with
Welkin
Welkin,
verdes, Welkin pavorosos
green
y los
Welkin,
altos Welkins,
dread
gobernándolos a todos.
and the high Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount
El
of
teniente
time
no
has
puede
gone into
evitar hacer un
drawing these
comentario.
little
Invertir
Welkin
alguna cantidad de
creatures.
tiempo muy considerable en dibujar a los Welkins.
Political commentary. That one has a great beard too. Some people really like building a world, I think.
Sí, ajá.
Even if it's just for a game. This looks like concept art for a project.
Arte conceptual para un
It's not
proyecto,
really
no es
real.
verdad.
Just look at those details. So much effort.
Ajá.
This appears to be some kind of
Máquina con un
machine
armazón
with a
de cables y un
cube-shaped
núcleo
heart and a
en forma de
wired
cubo.
framework.
El teclado tiene un botón rectangular de encendido y apagado. Un trozo de papel todavía cuelga de la impresora.
A radio computer.
Radiocomputadora.
Just sitting here without anyone inside.
What he means is that these things cost money.
Cuestión de dinero.
Why would anyone just leave it behind? This is the Ream
Es
Civic
una
radio
radiocomputadora
computer,
REM Civic modelo RC 5120 equipada
equipped
como
with a
una
Feld
unidad
mainframe
central
and a
Field
Ream compatible
y una
printer.
impresora REM compatible.
We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned how to use it.
The machine
La
lights up
máquina se pone
like
en
some
marcha como un animal
prehistoric
prehistórico.
animal stirring from its slumber,
Esperas.
revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a beehive
Como una
without its
tormenta,
brood.
colmena sin
Some
papel.
cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth drawer, the
El
filament
filamento encaja en
slides
su lugar,
into
un
place.
cajón
On the keyboard,
engrasado
the
en el
play
teclado
key
del botón
starts
reproducir
blinking.
comienza a parpadear.
A bar of fabric
Una tira de
right
tela
above
sobre
the
el teclado
keyboard
empieza a emitir
starts
un leve
producing
zumbido.
a
El
soft
sonido de la
hum.
estática
The
vibra a
sound of
través de la
static
membrana
seeps through
magnética
the
del
machine's
altavoz.
planar magnetic driver. Oh no. It was already glowing and
Y ahora
now it's
también emite
also
sonido.
making a sound. It's probably some alien CO-like technology. The static gets
La
louder,
estática se
slowly
incrementa e
filling
inunda
up the
lentamente
abandoned
la
hall until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? filament you have inserted into the reader. Yes. Is that the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password. No.
No.
Still no. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder for trust
Sin presentar
accident.
una orden de
Without
Intel no
filing
podrá
a
conseguir
warrant
acceso a
with
este
Intel,
filamento.
I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Received. I will register this login attempt.
That sounds bad. A login attempt. Something a criminal would do. Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to. One moment. Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary
radiojuegos
rapid calling
interactivos.
radio games. That's what the catalog says. Any other questions? Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
Los programadores son un tanto paranoicos. Digo, mi compañero acaba de decirme que está ahí porque los de las computadoras son todos unos paranoicos.
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
On an island on the river Esperance, a small woman, all skin and bones, sits in a room filled with audio equipment. Thousands of tiny lights are reflected back from her prescription lenses, like stars in the dark.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress Accident.
Ya, todavía no tengo la contraseña. Más tarde lo puedo intentar.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good afternoon. Fortress Accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. Please repeat. Is this the... Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Nothing happens. The filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Ya, por si me echan del lugar. Más avanzados del mundo.
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin.
Tiene un
It looks
aspecto
ghostly and
fantasmagórico y
strangely
extrañamente
ancient.
vetusto.
Radio frequencies, it seems.
Radiofrecuencias.
UKV
Parecer UKV
123.6,
123.6,
UKV
107 y 9.
123.7,
También algunas
UKV
notaciones esparso de
123.9.
crípticas.
Some written notes too, sparse and cryptic. Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? The web is
La red está
comprised
compuesta
of
por
radio
emisores de radio,
stations,
todos
all
conducen
lead
de
back to
vuelta
one red
al
heart
corazón rojo
titled
denominado la
The
frecuencia del
Game Master
director de
Frequency.
juego.
A
Una
note
nota
says,
pone, este
this one
puede
can listen
escuchar
in
en
on any
cualquier
station
emisora.
it wants. Looks like a surveillance program.
Parece un programa de vigilancia.
They must have had massive
Debían tener unos
bandwidth.
servidores como una
These
amplitud
things
de
don't
onda
come cheap.
inmensa, no salen baratos. Pero ¿quién es el director del juego?
Someone very
Alguien muy
important.
importante. Sí, es un juego que me está
Whoever
jugando.
decides to call
Quien
in
decide
to a
llamar a
call-in
una emisora al
station,
parecer.
it looks like. A list of names under
Una
the
lista de nombres
stations
bajo las
suggests
emisoras.
people across 6 isolas would be playing
Jugar personas a través
Burundi,
de las 6
Insulinda,
islas Mundo.
Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Ilmara. There's no way
Sería
a little
imposible que
basement
un
studio
estudio tan
working
pequeño como
here
este
could
hubiera
pull
podido
anything
sacar
like this
adelante
off.
un proyecto semejante.
My God. It's as
Cielo
if the
santo,
less
el
money they
teniente se
had,
acerca
the more ambitious
pasando
their
los dedos
project
por
became.
un enloquecedor rizoma. Es como si cuanto menos tuviesen más ambicioso se volvería el proyecto.
Exactly.
Exacto,
This
es un gesto con la
schedule,
cabeza hacia el
I
calendario
know
dibujando
doom
una
when I
pizarra.
see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages.
Okay. What do you
¿Qué
think is
conclusiones
going
saca
on
con
with
respecto a
that
la
computer,
computadora, la pizarra
chalkboard,
y la
and
chimenea?
fireplace? Yes, that is the question.
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory, crafted together like a puzzle box.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers. Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Grad, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry. But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an interisolary game before. We just don't have the technology. Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the We World board game, with hit death thrown in. No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the Game Master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people, possibly divided into sub-frequencies.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but I don't think so. I think they genuinely believed. Okay, let's keep moving.
Afuera, me lleva afuera. ¿Qué es esto? Es mucho más grande. Trata magnesio. Una refri.
You see a terrifying
Antes de
ice
un
bear
aterrador
with a
solar con
strange
los ojos tan
compartment
rojos
in
como
its belly.
brillantes, cuenta
The
con
door
un
is
extraño
covered in frost,
compartimiento en
and
el
the bear's
vientre.
eyes
La
are
puerta está
glowing
cubierta
red.
de hielo.
This ice bear is a hyper carnivore.
Tiene pinta de ser un
Be
verdadero carnívoro,
careful.
ten cuidado.
The lieutenant doesn't answer. His eyes are glued to the animal. A sharp slice of light shines out from its mysterious belly door. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a
El
peek
teniente echa un vistazo
inside.
interior, al
His
interior
hand
como
has
una mano
found
sobre
the
un
holster
puño de su
of
arma.
his gun.
Of course, just a
Claro, solo
giant
es una
ice
nevera,
bear
una
shaped fridge.
gigantesca y con forma de oso polar.
Let's take a look inside.
The shelves are empty.
Las baldas
All you
están vacías,
see
lo
are
único que hay en su
crumpled ice cream
interior son
wrappers
envoltorios
with the
de
brand
helados de
name,
la marca Ciudad
Rivershore
Helada de
Ice
Robertson.
City. A
También hay una
handwritten
nota
note has
sujeta
been
en la
attached
puerta
to
de
the
la
door.
nevera, es
The fridge
gigantesca.
is huge. You pocket the note
La guardas
and
la
the
nota y
little
los
fridge
pequeños
magnets
imanes
keeping
que la
it on the
sujetaban
door.
a la puerta. Examinar uno de los envoltorios de helado.
A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. The paper still smells of vanilla and
Chocolate y
chocolate.
vainilla. ¿Se puede saber qué narices hace una nevera con forma de asa?
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
Una pregunta, parece una nevera para helados. El teniente coge uno de los envoltorios y lo examina a la luz. O sea que intentaban vender helados.
I know.
Sé lo
What
que está
an
pensando, dice
unfortunate
el teniente.
marketing
Qué elección de
choice.
marketing más desafortunada.
What is even worse,
Y lo que
the
es aún
bear
peor,
is still
sigue
costing them
costándoles
money
dinero.
to this day.
Te enseña el cable rojo serpenteante que sale de la nevera.
The fridge buzzes
La
with
nevera
energy.
vibra como energía.
The electricity
La
bill on
factura
this
de la
thing
luz
must be
de este bicho debe ser
catastrophic.
catastrófica. Puede ser que narices
The bear's eyes are still glowing red, watching over all the ice.
máquina de helados desenchufada y descongelándose. Este lugar es grande. La pared se ha derrumbado.
A thick layer of coal dust
Papel carboncillo
covers the
sobre la caldera
furnace,
teñiéndolo
coloring
completamente
it
negro. ¿Y
pitch
qué es esta
black.
cosa? ¿Es una caldera?
Looks like it.
Sí, eso creo. Parece una vieja caldera central pensada para calentar todo el edificio. Está conectada a la chimenea. Abre la portezuela y les asoma aire caliente a las...
No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness
que
you can
proceden de
hear
arriba.
chatter. It's
Una
coming
o
from
más
above.
voces
A voice
hablaban entre
or
ellas
several voices
cerca de la cámara
talking to each other
de humos del
near the
piso de
smoke
arriba.
chamber upstairs. The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's producing them.
What are you doing?
¿Qué está haciendo?
Wait, really? We should investigate. See if someone's upstairs.
Como la fracase nomás. Por si acaso. Por si acaso voy a guardar.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace. Something breaks loose.
Luego se desata en tu interior un poderoso grito resuena en las profundidades de la chimenea. El parloteo de las voces
The chatter
de
of
arriba
tiny
cesa de
voices
pronto y
above suddenly
entonces
cease.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you.
sube aquí, hay una persiana de seguridad.
Curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs, the sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer. You're right. The rooms do look like they're connected.
Sin embargo, las entidades malignas no existen, al menos las paranormales.
Supernatural kind.
Then what was the chatter?
Entonces, ¿qué eran los murmullos que escuchaste?
A lush layer
Una
of
abundante
coal
capa de
now
carbón cubre tu
covers your
piel
skin,
metiéndose por las
sinking
arrugas. Tus
into
manos
the
parecen muy
wrinkles.
antiguas.
Maybe you could paint
¿No te gustaría
something
pintar
with
algo
this
con
coal.
ese carbón? No sé,
Leave a
dejar una
cave
pintura
painting for
rupestre para los
future
futuros
archaeologists.
arqueólogos o bueno, no,
That
qué
would
tontería.
be stupid. Still, it's good to have this dirt on you. Real men
Los
wear
hombres de verdad
coal.
con carbón. Ya aprendí mi lección, no más patadas.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Seems like an old
Parece un
bunker
viejo
from the
búnker del periodo
Revolutionary period.
revolucionario. Mira cuántos
Look at all
rifles
those
señalan
rifles.
hacia arriba. Los rifles
Must
son
be an old
ocultos, debe
weapons
ser un viejo
cache.
alijo de armas. Mira, hay un agujero en la pared de iluminar.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
Your hand reaches deep
Tu mano se entra en la
into
oscuridad
darkness
atravesando
and
telarañas y
spiderwebs.
hurgando alrededor.
Rummaging around,
Encuentras
you
rifles
find rusty
oxidados
rifles
escondidos.
hidden away. Most of them are
La
rusty
mayoría son
and
oxidados y no funcionan,
inoperable,
pero uno
like
te
the
llama la
rest.
atención. Un
But
modelo de
one
acción de
catches your
perno
eye.
como una bonita
Bolt action
empuñadura de
model
madera.
with a
Tiene
fine
mucha
woodstock
mejor pinta
in
que los
better
demás.
cosmetic order than the others. An old Belmagrave
Es un
rifle.
viejo Bell McGrave del periodo revolucionario, apreciado más por su fiabilidad que por su precisión.
The rest are
Seguramente el
probably
resto
Belmagraves
también te
too,
llenan de
just
imposibles.
too damaged to be sure.
Demasiado daño para identificarlos. Tiene mucha mejor pinta que los demás.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It's the same type of weapon, yes.
Sí, el mismo tipo.
Breech loader. But it's not the same
Pero
gun.
no es la misma arma.
This one's been out of order for years. I'm afraid our search for the real murder weapon must continue. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
He likes this find.
Ya lo tenemos aquí. Plata nos afecta.
Two cables are plugged
Cuadro
into the
eléctrico.
breaker
Los
box.
cables
The red
conectan
one
con el cuadro
leads to
eléctrico. El
the ice bear
rojo va
fridge
para
and the
hasta la
black one
nevera
to
del
the ice
oso,
cream maker
para la
nearby.
nevera del oso polar, y el negro de la máquina de helados cercano. El negro de la máquina de helados. Máquina de helados.
An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has one cable missing.
¿Podría hacer algo que antes no podía?
The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melting. The power has been cut off.
Los cables del intercomunicador conectan con el cuadro eléctrico. Una puerta para subir y acá tenemos más camino todavía, mucho más. No, es un poco. Y plata. A través de la ventana ves los pies de la gente pasando por la calle. No, es hora de salir. No. ¿De verdad?
All around you,
Nieve
rain
cae
falls
sobre
on the great
la gran
city
ciudad de
of Rivachol.
Robachol.
Rain
El agua
drips from
gotea
the
de los
eaves and
aleros e
floods
inunda
the
los canales,
gutters,
limpiando la
washing the
suciedad.
filth away. The spring thaw must
El
be
deshielo de
here.
primavera debe
The
estar aquí,
snow
la
is
nieve
melting.
se está derritiendo.
Looking up at the
Mira hacia el
sky,
cielo, el
cold
agua fría
water
gotea
dripping
desde
from
tu
your
sombrero.
hat. Grey sky
El cielo
like
gris
great
como una gran
battleships,
acorazada.
clouds
Las nubes
colliding
chocan
with
entre
one
sí,
another.
la lluvia cae
Rain
sobre el mundo.
falls down on the world.
¿Ah, de verdad era así?
Humid, your
El
coat
abrigo
shields you
te
from the
protege de la
rain
lluvia
while the
mientras la
city
ciudad se
shivers
estremece a
around
tu
you.
alrededor. que al oeste.
Sheets of rain
Cántaros
over
de
the
lluvia
water,
sobre el agua,
a
un
flight
tramo de
of
escaleras
stairs
que lleva al
leading
océano, ola
into
tras
the
ola,
ocean.
limpiando la costa de
Wave
Martinez,
after wave
sus
washing
lanchas
the
de
coast
motor y
of
sus
Martinez,
juncos meciéndose
with its
suavemente.
motorboats and gently swaying reeds.
Cántaros de lluvia sobre el agua, el tramo de escaleras que lleva al océano, ola tras ola, limpiando.
The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort
Medio hundidos se
crumble on an
desmoronan en
inlet
unas
beyond the Bay of
ensenadas.
Revachol.
Más
Ghosts
allá
rise
de la
into the
bahía de
sky.
Revachol, los fantasmas se elevan hacia el cielo.
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs, cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction, a defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water. Coal City, end of all lines. The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows. Your hair is an oily mess flecked with
Desastre
ash
salpicado de
from
cenizas de
neighboring
las
coal
plantas de carbón.
plants.
Resinas, las
Smokestacks rise
chimeneas de humo
somewhere
se
in the
elevan en algún lugar
distance.
de la lejanía.
The great gates of the industrial harbor are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide. Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within.
Metálicos de
and
transporte rojos y azules
immeasurable
mojados por la
poverty
lluvia.
in
El gran
its
puerto industrial de Revachol es una cordillera artificial. En su interior reside una inmensa riqueza y en su sombra una pobreza inconmensurable.
shadow. La Drusienne, King Dri's passenger harbor. Cruise
Cruceros
ships
flanqueadas
flanked
por las
by
grúas del muelle,
dockholds,
vigilantes,
cranes
canal
watch over the
distributado.
mouth of the river distributary. Couron, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain. A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide. Capeside apartments. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play. A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Filthy water pools around a body. Droplets of rain slip from the dead man's cold cheeks.
Agua sucia se amontona en un charco alrededor del cuerpo. Por sus frías mejillas se deslizan gotas de lluvia.
A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised. The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock. Revachol is the capital of the world. Jamrock is the capital of Revachol. Droplets form on your eyelashes. It's home.
Have a brother in the cut. Where the wood at?
To be in Martinez, where no one goes, at the runoff point of a long-forgotten canal, in the whitest part of town, in the shadow of the day the revolution failed. Standing in the rain, looking north, where Jamrock Rock City stretches inland. In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink. Coalition-era statics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. At least we are dressed for it. Let's keep moving.
Bueno,
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
a ver, guardar partido. Este es nuevo guardado acá. Como hasta hace un minuto me estaba durmiendo. Por algún motivo me entró un sueño brutal.
With a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies. No.
Carajo.
An old call box with a matrix of whatever she says. It can't hurt
Igual
you.
lo que diga, ya no puede hacerte daño. Ahora eres un hombre diferente, más fuerte, más sano y...
All right.
Bueno,
Maybe
puede
not
que
healthy,
no más sano,
but
pero
it's a
que hayas
bonus
bebido tanto
that
que
you
te haya
jumped
hecho
so
olvidar
hard
todas las
you can't
relaciones
remember
pasadas
any
es
of
un
your
plus.
past
El
relationships.
olvido es tu as en la manga.
There's a light
Hoy
buzz
es un
as you
frío
press
pulsar al
the
tiempo esperando a que ella
doorbell,
responda a la
waiting for
llamada,
her
pero
to answer the call.
hace un frío y puedes
It's
oír el
cold
viento
outside,
soplando en el
and you
auricular.
can hear the wind blowing into the speaker. A strange
Un
metallic
sabor extraño
taste
metálico
fills
inunda tu
your
boca
mouth
mientras
as
miras
you
el
stare
intercomunicador.
at the intercom. There's the
Ahí
static
está
again,
la estática de nuevo
whispering
susurrando
like a
como una
seashell
caracola
pressed against the air.
contra tu oído. Hola,
Yes,
¿qué es esto?
hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you come to place an order? My God.
Here come the bad vibes again. Relax. Distance yourself from it.
It's you. My God. I didn't think I would hear your voice again.
Wait, is she...
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care.
The voice from the intercom
No
doesn't
responde.
answer, but you can hear her breathing. Wind blows into your microphone again, crackling and echoing in the box.
Ay no, ¿qué hice?
Since I came to work here, it's been different.
Pero oyes una respiración, el viento sopla en tu auricular resonando una vez. Tus manos se enfrían, tu aliento se hace visible formando pequeñas bocanadas. Tú, gracias, y ahora dime, ¿quién es el responsable de esta broma?
As if my mind's been
Como si mi
wiped
memoria se
clean.
hubiera borrado por completo.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally forget about you.
And then it hits you. She tries again not to cry, and still doesn't succeed completely. Her quiet sobs sound old and distant, as if her voice is being played off a wax cylinder. Anger boils up in your chest. Her sound melts into the static
Con la
from
estética
a
de una llamada
long-distance
telefónica
phone
muy
call.
lejana, cada tanto
From time to
oyes
time,
el
you
distante
can hear
parloteo de la
people
gente, pero no eres
talking in the
capaz de
distance,
distinguir una
but
sola palabra.
can't make out any words. This is where you hung up the call
Aquí es
the
donde
last
colgaste la
time,
última vez, pero la
but the
grabación
recording
continúa.
is still going.
Seguiré escuchando.
A phone rings in
El
the
timbre
office
anticuado
with
de un
an
teléfono resuena en la
old-fashioned
oficina
chime,
mientras un
and
par de
someone
tacones
walks
pasan
by
por su
in a
lado,
pair
como
of
una
eels.
manta
The static
cálida.
is
La
like a
estática
warm
envuelve
blanket
todo sonido.
wrapped around the sounds. No one
Nadie,
replies,
nadie responde.
but the
El
static grows
petardeo de la
stronger,
estática
like
va en aumento
rainfall.
como las gotas de
Then
una
a
lluvia
female
creciente.
voice
Una voz
speaks out,
femenina completamente
completely
distinta a la
different from the
anterior
one before.
responde, gloriosa y
Glorious
plena,
and total
penetrando en tu
somehow.
cabeza.
Crawling inside your head.
For 300 years I have been here, volatile and luminous, made of sodium and rain. If you want
Si me
me,
buscas me
you can
encontrarás en la
find me
playa.
on the beach. Dans la
En
carnaval.
el arte de Nippon.
So, it was a recording
Será una
trapped
grabación
in the
atrapada en los
circuitry.
circuitos de algún
Some
antiguo
ancient
inquilino.
tenant.
Sucede a veces.
This sometimes
Lo damos por
happens.
cerrado, tenemos
Shall we
otras cosas
conclude
que
here?
resolver.
We have other mysteries to solve. I don't have time to explain it to you right now. Maybe sometime later. Don't take this the wrong
No se
way,
lo tome tan a
but
mala gente,
during our
pero
short
durante
stint
nuestro breve
working
periodo
together,
trabajando juntos,
something
lo de algo
weird
raro
is
viene siendo la
almost
norma.
always happening to you.
That is true. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush
Visión
that covers the
espacial, todavía
plaza.
necesito eso de ahí. Volvemos a inspeccionar, pero esta vez activemos el... Dijo detrás de la cortina en el segundo piso. ¿Cortina?
few bricks have fallen off, revealing a
Nice.
The bear's eyes are dead and empty. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. This old fireplace is...
Cortina.
Your flashlight slides over. Some of the writing has...
Yo vine por acá, pero no vine por acá, ¿verdad? Creo que eso se refería con secreto. Zapatos sobre un charco de nieve que se derrite. Los tablones crujen bajo mis pies. Postal, la Delta año 51. Una bandeja llena de datos poliédricos de colores. Han reconvertido la máquina de caramelos en un surtidor de dados.
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius. So what kind of die are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate
Deberías
her about
interrogarla
the
sobre el
legend.
linchamiento.
Yes, Amelie is like a call-in
Como una
station.
especie de estación
You need a
central de
two-way
llamadas.
radio to
Necesito una
access
radio
one.
bidireccional para
That's why I
acceder.
have
Por eso
these.
tengo estos. De un toquecito los auriculares sobre la mesa.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. Then how did you get
Entonces hemos
inside?
entrado por
By the south
la
entrance?
sur.
You know what?
No importa.
It doesn't
Lo que
even
importa es
matter.
que ya está aquí.
What
Hablemos
matters is
de
that you're finally here.
dados. Busca algo en
Let's talk
especial.
dice. Did you have something specific in mind? I'm a novelty dice
Soy
maker.
artesana de
Tell
dados.
me the name of
Responde,
your
dígame el
role-playing
nombre de su
system
juego
and
de
I'll
rol
make the die you
y le
need.
prepararé los dados
That's
que
why you're
necesita.
here,
Por eso ha
yes?
venido, ¿verdad?
As she speaks,
Mientras
her
habla, sus
bone-like
dedos
fingers fiddle
huesudos,
their
no,
ring.
sí, huesudos,
Her bones
juguetean
light,
como un anillo.
but her
Son delicados,
hands
pero sus
strong.
manos son
Role-playing games?
juegos de rol.
You know the
Conoce
one
el
made
que
by
estaba
Fortress Accident.
haciendo.
Does that count?
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there is any particular stone you want to use. How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there. Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people. Nothing really. I didn't know him.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, Detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone. It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home. Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids, and lately I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike. But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Creative.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Rats scuttle in the dark rooms under the abandoned blow dryers and dusty mannequins. Cobwebs cover rotors and radio computers alike. So much failure.
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you. It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
Me neither. I just want it off my face. It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime. A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard. I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should have known it.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff medias. Who would have guessed? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a Sub Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
What does she mean, to get off on it?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Even you can probably do better than that.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came. Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Actually, insects do have brains, but yes, I understand what you're saying. I think the protesters took it a little too far.
As she shifts around, you notice several dead flies on the windowsill in front of her. Legs up. They're not moving.
Anything else? They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is. Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around.
Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest. Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic and to show up to work on time.
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Still, not everyone is going to make it. That's the nature of the game.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas. There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Fritte does the same thing.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Revachol ICT. And they already had the bear. The bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Revachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Class A 5000. Class A 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. Maybe, because the taxidermist who made the bear definitely wasn't. Doing his job, I mean. He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherion.
Scary, but cool.
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life. By telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs.
Understandable. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Little sparkling embers under the window. Outside it's light. Light scatters from the low-hanging cloud cover. There's always the threat of snow.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion. That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the Dune commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
Right, it used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice, don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, fluorography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore. Oh, right. But did this person say anything? Tricentennial Electrics? It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity. Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work, but sure, I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else? I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
It's because she's in cahoots with the demons.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress? What about you, officer? Do you think I'm the malignant entity?
The jig is up. The she-demon knows you've uncovered her true identity.
So I'm the grand dragon in the cave. Might I ask what supports this claim? Ethereal? Thank you, but I think it's just the lighting. If you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, then let me know.
L'Essence needs to hear about this. Perhaps if you combine your psychic energies, you will make sense of the situation.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. What do you mean by cursed? Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die. Maybe you have some other ideas for dice? A star that fell from the firmament? Those cost more than 7 real. Are you sure? Alright, maybe some other die then? No need to rush. Take a look around, see if anything inspires you. Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
You feel nothing.
Ay, no.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
You feel
Ay.
nothing. If
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
a gust of cold
Yeah.
air sweeps through the chimney, the stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Didn't we already talk about this?
Es muy difícil cruzar más técnicamente esta no es fácil.
What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture, its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
This doesn't make any sense. Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? You're right. I should take a trip to the roof once the snow is gone. Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
Do you know what this is?
Dedo índice.
It's a mourning ring.
Manillo de
I
dedo.
made this
Lo hice
when
cuando
my
mi
first
primer
company
negocio se fue a
failed.
pique.
It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable
Plan
business
de negocio
plan.
viable.
No, you're right. I didn't. It wasn't just a jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world that you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney? Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can
Luego de
try
probar suerte.
again.
Aún así hay algo
Still,
intrínsecamente
there's
violento en una
something
tirada de
inherently
dados.
violent even about dice rolls. It's like every
Es como
time
si
you
cada
cast
vez
a
que lanzas
die,
un dado algo
something
desapareciera, un
disappears.
resultado
Some
alternativo o un
alternative
mundo completamente
ending or
distinto.
an entirely different world. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer. I'm listening. Good.
Cuéntale a Placen lo que has descubierto. Bueno, eso sería todo para mí.